What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 78 of my Total Warhammer 3 Ikit Claw Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, we got a very nice little battle with Throt as he took Karak-Drin, the now former capital of Ungrim Ironfist / the Karak-Drin dwarves. And this does weaken the faction further, although they do have a lot of territory where Zufbar used to be. It's probably going to be in danger quite soon. I would have expected that the Crooked Moon actually would move to here to some degree, but it doesn't seem that these guys actually really want to fight each other, which is a little bit surprising. In fact, Crooked Moon isn't even at war with Zufbar, and only with Karak-Drin. I don't appreciate that game. These guys really should be fighting amongst themselves. At least Azag is at war with them both, and Drika and the other orcs. Azag's a real one. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing, and I'm sure that his orcs are enjoying the whole situation. Anyway, in terms of what we gotta do this episode, we left off last episode with several potential battles, namely Garth against a massive number of orcs, including the Wa and the garrison here, and then we got Chargelock versus potentially all the dwarfs at Frozen Landing, and then we have, let's see, where are we? We have the Siege of Zlatlan by Scheif. Now, both the Siege of Zlatlan and to some degree Chargelock's battles might be a little bit on the easier side, I would think. Garth's would probably be the toughest, mostly because his army is rather weak and frankly doesn't have much units. On the other hand, this is going to be a minor settlement battle in the sense that it's an unwalled settlement battle, which may actually work in our favor by virtue of the number of catapults we have. Also, if we win at Longyi, we are likely to have won against this faction for good, because I doubt that they'll recover. And there's probably not a full stack here, but I guess we can find out. Let's give it a try. If push comes to shove, we can always back off. Close defeat, according to this, and... okay, good, no, we're fine. I was worried about there being a ton of Arachnaroks in the garrison here, but it looks like there isn't one. And if there isn't a bunch, then we should be okay. It's just the one. It'll still be an issue to take out, but between the dreaded 13th and feeding a bunch of plague monks into it, we should be able to take it out. I guess the river trolls could also be problematic, but I'm not as worried about those. Here we go. Alrighty, here we go. I am both worried and excited about this particular battle. Worried because Garth was, as we may recall, a temporary lord, or at least started out as a temporary lord, and just to try to fight some stuff off immediately, and has a random smattering of units that he could build in his particular location. He doesn't even have a pair of Giselles, which I like to add to every army to snipe things. But it's still exciting because, well, if we can pull this off, this will be pretty great. Despite the difficulty, we'll see what the Plague Monks and the piles of Plague Claws can do, and hopefully their performance will summon Throt in the same way that Metable's performance will summon Deathmaster Snitch. Anyway, the enemy is going to actually move its garrison reinforcements off the field, surprisingly, and on this side of the map where we deployed, which means we're going to begin our bombardment. Unfortunately for us, enemies are covered by those trees, so I'd say about 80% of the shots are not going to hit, and that's a pretty darn thick canopy, full of goo now, full of plague goo, but nonetheless, a few shots will be getting through, and hopefully these guys will get out of those trees at some point. Kind of cool to watch the bombardment through the trees, though, and the glowing trees afterwards. Alright, they can see our armies. It's almost like watching an Orky ambush from their perspective, where they come upon a column, but they have to cross this little treeless area, so that's going to be a much bigger problem for them, I'd wager. Too bad we don't have any rattling guns or Giselles, as they would eat them alive as soon as they left those trees. Anyway, we're going to start summoning some clan rats via the menace below to stop these guys in their tracks. Our lord is also moving around, not to actually engage in combat, as we can see he's still in full HP, but rather to make sure that we can see the enemy when they are in those trees, as otherwise the enemy would be moving around hidden. We're also going to start targeting these river hags or river trolls rather, because obviously we don't want them fighting our plague monks directly. Our lord's gonna move in for the 8 seconds or so that we need in order to summon another unit of clan rats and just stop the enemy from charging towards our plague monks, as I would really prefer the piles of plague monks to be at about full HP when they head into the settlement. Anyway, a few more seconds of distraction. Now our lord is actually stuck and trying to get out, turn this way, not even attacking, but the additional plague monks are in, or not plague monks, the additional clan rats are in. Now this army definitely needs more plague priests, just like Shife's army, in order to cast Vermintide if it wants to keep its current formation, or its current units. Though I'm still not sure whether we'll be keeping this army around, or whether we will swap it out and delete it, or whether we will just retrofit it with a completely different set of units, because once again, this was just set up temporarily, and we certainly don't need this many Plague Claws in an army. And I also don't like the fact that it's fairly similar to Shife's army, even though it has a lot more plague monks in it. Anyway, that was about half of the enemy units, and our plague monks are engaged over on this side because we don't have much of a choice in the matter. And the enemy was going around that particular area, so we had to stop them here, as I would like to destroy them outside of the settlement rather than allow them to join in the enemy's defense. Our Razor Gore and Tuskor chariots are working to help. They're just charging into the backs of the enemy. Not going to do so much damage to the river trolls, but it will cause an additional morale loss, and trolls generally have fairly low leadership, so hopefully we can force them to rout. We're also popping our Screaming Bell whenever we can to increase our vigor and prevent our units from getting tired from their fight, so hopefully we can at least outlast those trolls and those orcs. It does look like most of the enemy here are just about done. They're not super happy about fighting from every side, as in we did surround them quite well here. And yes, indeed, these guys at the very least have shattered, so now we will have to turn our gaze upon the main enemy settlement, and there's still quite a lot of stuff in there. This is going to take some effort to root them out. We've also used about 25 to 33% of our ammo on our Plague Claw catapults. I fear that they will not have enough ammo to bombard this entire settlement to death. Also, isn't this a Breton? Oh yeah, it is a Bretonian town. I was just like, I recognize this map, but yeah, well, we're as well I should. Let's see, the enemy does have an Ragnarok. Oh wow, it's guarding a platform. Never seen that. Too bad its little feet can't go up on the platform. It would be funny if it could just go up here and stare down at you. Alrighty, well this thing is probably going to be an issue, and so is the enemy lord, who I hadn't realized is on a flying mount. This is going to be a problem. The wyverns are fairly difficult to kill, and just like the Ragnarok is with a lord especially for our army, as we don't have anything that counters this sort of thing. But before we begin countering it, we're going to start our bombardment. The Black Orcs are the main first target. Definitely don't want those guys fighting our regular Plague Priests with their relative lack of armor pierce. We should just double check. What do we got in terms of armor piercing values? I think it's like 12 or something. 10. Yeah. Really need some sensor bearers here instead, which is why Lord Skroak is building sensor bearers rather than regular plague monks. He can always summon a regular plague monks via his plague priests. Anyway, an enemy tower goes down, though it did take quite a few volleys from our Plague Claws due to their inaccuracy. As we can see, definitely want at least some Jezzails to knock down towers in this army, if nothing else, as the Plague Claws are just wasting way too many shots. And that was only one tower. If we had to knock out like 3 of them, that would be most of their ammo, I fear. And that's with so damn many Plague Claws as we are. We also have them situated in such a way that the trees hopefully don't get in the way of their shots. And this does mean some units are way further behind the rest, but, well, what can you do? Anyway, our Lord is moving in together with those chariots to hit that barricade. We did summon a unit of clan rats right ahead of the barricade to hopefully give us an extra few seconds in order to destroy this and allow our plague monks through. The enemy is going to counter that with an absolute massive pile of goblins and orcs who are all going to stand there, but that's just fine. The Ragnarok, not so fine, depending on if it can get through these piles of units. Maybe we can hit these guys with some spells and some Plague Claws who are trying to move into position, but once again we do want to bring down that barricade. The enemy Lord actually decides to drop on in, which seems like a bad idea on his part. Sure, he can kill our Lord as he's not going to be super fighty on that Screaming Bell, especially hit by Spirit Leeches, but he does have the ability to cast his dreaded 13th, which means we suddenly have a unit of halberd wielding storm vermin on the field to surround the enemy Lord. A little bit difficult to see from that angle, unfortunately, as it is a rather dark map due to the Skaven corruption. If the bombardment continues, it will probably be doing a number on our clan rats as well as our summoned storm vermin, but they are still summons, and we don't care as much about them. The enemy Lord's at about half HP, and we're actually doing a fairly decent job at knocking him down. And the plague monks are helping to surround him, and now we're turning every single unit here to try to kill that Lord. If he's going to put himself into this position, we're damn well going to take advantage. All the while, the bombardment still continues, and those plague claws still annoy the enemies inside. Yeah, in this particular situation, Plague Mortars would have definitely, or Poison Wind Mortars would have definitely been more effective. A Scorch coming in, and the rest of our units still continuing to chase the enemy Lord, who is now at a tiny sliver of HP. He almost got out of our piles of plague monks, but we moved in our chariots to simply block him with their mass, proving the worthwhileness of said chariots. Now our Lord is fighting the Ragnarok and is still in the field, but is still quite damaged. We're gonna move out a little bit just so that the Ragnarok doesn't surround him. On the bright side, though, that is not all that we got, and another unit of Storm Vermin joins the fray. And that is our second use of Dreaded 13th, and this one will be doing its job in surrounding the Ragnarok rather than the Lord this time. Hopefully together these guys can bring it down. Otherwise, let's see, the bounce of power is actually now in our favor at about, I would say, 60%. We're down to about 25% ammunition on our piles of artillery, but we're moving them further and further in so we could target more enemies. There's still a decent amount of piles of enemies that will hopefully be subject to bombardment, but it's the Ragnarok that we have to bring down, although hopefully not taking too much damage to our own units. They really don't need to be firing on the Ragnarok, as they do no damage to him. Or it, rather. Alrighty, firing overhead, and the Ragnarok may not be dead, is in fact a little bit over half HP, but it is broken. We are going to give chase to it as best we can, but this is where, unfortunately, our summoned storm vermin disappear. The Ragnarok moves at a 57 speed, so it's considerably faster than the Plague Monks and is starting to get away and recharge its leadership. Really unfortunate. I did decide to send in the Tuskor chariots to annoy some enemies here, but I completely regret it, as leaving one would have allowed us to chase the Ragnarok instead. Trying in vain to get to them with these chariots now. But unfortunately, it does look like the Ragnarok will recover. Thank you. Never on time. Close enough, though. Alrighty, well, it's moving back in. We still have our Lord as well as 2 units of Plague Monks, and it's round 2 against the Ragnarok. By the time that we're done against this thing, I bet that our ammunition will be gone from our artillery pieces, but it does look like they still are having a fun time bombarding the enemy settlement. I appreciate bombardment of settlements a lot more, as as fun when you do still have something on the field to fight, like when you don't completely stay out of the enemy settlement, but are also in the middle of fights, like we've been doing this entire time, which is pretty great. Our chariots are moving in once again to hit the Ragnarok in the back this time. They will do basically no damage to it most likely, but this time, if it breaks, we will not have to chase it off. And speaking of it breaking, it does break once again at about 30% HP. I guess unsupported, these guys don't have enough leadership. I'm surprised how quickly it broke both here and in the enemy settlement. Fortunately, it is close to the edge of the map now, and with our chariots here, we no longer need to worry about it. Alright, well. Now then, it's time to start moving in with our Plague Monks, who are going to go up this ramp and enter the city. Gonna get charged a little bit by some Gabo Wolf Riders. And it should be a relatively even fight here. 37-25, we actually outstats them, but they do. Oh man, Goblin Wolf Riders, 38 armor compared to the 10 of our Plague Monks. They really ain't armored. And all those arrows coming down on them is going to be quite a pain, so we need to try to break through these formations of enemies as best we can. Fortunately, Unholy Clamor keeps their leadership and their vigor in a good place, so at least the enemies will get tired, whereas we will not. Looks like most of the enemies fighting them are already winded after a short fight. Gotta love those Screaming Bells for that, if nothing else. That, I think, would make Screaming Bells a lot more effective in SFO, wouldn't it? The strength of vigor or the changes to vigor are very significant in SFO. So the Screaming Bell keeping everybody in tip-top shape vigor-wise seems like it would be very good. Some pump wagons moving in, and they are quite dangerous to Plague Monks, so we do have to watch out for these things. Ah, 128 kills on these Plague Monks, very nice. Gotta bring down these damn pump wagons, though, who are now getting support from additional cab. But while all this is happening, we are going to move around. We've abandoned chasing the Ragnarok with all of our other units of Plague Monks. They're hitting that barricade, which came up again in the meantime. But additional Plague Monks are going to move around together with our Tuskor chariots. Still about 60% in our favor, so it hasn't changed much in terms of balance of power. And we have completely run out of ammunition on almost all of our Plague Claws as well, so no more artillery support. Yeah, this particular battle certainly a good showcase of why you really want a couple of Jezzails or a couple of Rattling guns in your army. The Jezzails would have been better for the enemy towers and the Rattling guns slightly better for the Ragnarok and the enemy Lord. But the Jezzails could have worked on those as well. Definitely going to pick those up when this army has a few seconds to sit around. Via global recruitment, but at this point I think we're gonna be willing to pay. Anyway, moving around this little ramp now with our additional units of Plague Monks and catching some units of Ngabo archers out. The enemies are still fighting down there, both the Biggins and the Wolf Riders, though it looks like the pump wagons have moved away. Still, we are starting to get low on the number of Plague Monks here, and the enemy does have the high ground on this ramp. Gotta be careful about losing units. I suppose it doesn't matter all that much if we lose units in this army. It was supposed to be a temporary army after all, but nonetheless. Still a good, fight to the death, or nearly to the death, for some of these units of Plague Monks. Very nice. One of these units is down to 59, but about 25% HP or something along those lines, though they did manage to pull it off in the end. And I think one of them had to back off here, or will have to back off, probably this one, because it's pretty badly hurt as well. Anyway, moving deeper into the enemy settlement, looks like the Plague Monks are taking damage from both the enemy War Boss and Big Boss, as well as some Night Goblin Fanatics. That's certainly going to hurt them, but it will hopefully keep the enemy Lord and Hero busy. We can't be dealing with them right now. We'd rather stream into the city and catch out any additional units that we can. It may be too difficult to kill the enemy Lord and Hero right now. We don't have the dreaded 13th available to us. The chariots would be completely useless against them, and we're probably better off killing everything but the Lord and Hero in the settlement, and thereby forcing them to rout, if we can manage to do so. Still a unit of Goblin Wolf chariots on the way here. or in the way rather, and a couple units of archers moving back there. One's still at full HP and one and now wavering, having rallied. There's also a giant river troll hag that we might want to catch, and a last unit of goblin archers back there. Our plague monks are also kind of in bad shape that are fighting the enemy lords here, with the support, or the fire support rather, from the enemy, and the fact that they have a difficult time piercing the armor of the enemy lord and hero. It's gonna take some work. Alrighty, keep it up, you two. We're gonna charge into those remaining goblin archers, both going to go for the barricade at the same time as hitting him in the back, and here comes our screaming bell. Down goes the barricade, and these gobos are pretty much done for. We've also charged up here, so the last two units of archers are about to get attacked as soon as that barricade goes down to the chariots, who have managed to be alive this entire time and got about 400 to 500 kills between them all together, which ain't so bad. Goal is still to chase down every single non-single entity unit until they all break. And let's see what we got here. These guys are wavering, but we need them to shatter fully. Oh, and there is a third unit out here as well that's come back. It's okay. The chariots should be able to make quick work of those archers. But damn, look at that. These plague monks are down to 13, lucky number 13 units. And the war boss and the big boss are certainly doing great jobs. 90 kills on you and 61 kills on you, and that's purely plague monks. Now this is certainly a showcase for how weak the plague monks are when facing off against armored foes, and with no support at that. And this is why you need to upgrade to sensor bearers, and why you need Jezzails and Rattlings and stuff for support. For all the relative eliteness of Storm Vermin and even the Plague Monks as compared to Clan Rats, they're still not very good infantry. Skaven aren't designed to have very good infantry. Which is perfectly fine, because we have some disgusting weapons teams. Alrighty, and it looks like the Plague Monks are basically done. These ones nearly done as well. The fermented fungi actually causing them to rampage, but it doesn't look like it matters, as the very last of the enemy archers gets caught. I believe the River Troll Hag got caught by an entire pile of units as well and broke. And then with the death of all their units and only the hero and lord remaining on the field, the rest of the army shatters and gives us a Pyrrhic victory. Ooh, definitely one of the nicer battles we've seen lately, probably because this army is rather weak, and I was kind of ambivalent as to whether we attacked this place at all, because we'd have a tough time with it, but we did manage to pull it off, and as long as there isn't another full stack nearby, we've got this place and we may have broken the faction. Ooh, alright, well, we knew that one was going to be something of a toughie, and something of a toughie it was. And I just realized that gave us a lot more food, which we were at 99% or something like that, which is a little bit unfortunate, but oh well. And that means I think we will take the place. Ugh, Longi. I don't really want to waste food on frickin' Longi. I don't feel like it, but on the other hand, the High Elves are nearby, and if they attack it, we may want to loot and occupy it. I don't remember whether were in range to sack it, and I'd rather just, you know, just loot and occupy it as it is. Plus, we'll heal up. Yes? Yes, thank you. Alrighty, and that starts you off at tier 3. I do wonder if there is an army at Lyonesse, but I expect even if there is, it's probably not to the same level as that one was, as the enemy probably hasn't had enough time to recover. We are going to pop you into expansionist stance immediately. The Quran is at tier 4 already, which is nice. And these places should be relatively defensible against those High Elves. Let's get those walls up and running immediately as well. It's only a matter of time until these guys come for us, although at the very least, these guys do like the fact that we're attacking the Broken Axe, but once the Broken Axe is dead and they're having less problems, they will probably go for us. Are they fighting Nagaron?
Hide your heart from me.
They are fighting Nagaron. I do have to wonder whether we'll be able to make an alliance with Nagaron. If only the Dark Elves and the Chaos Forces didn't have so much fighting going on between them. If they didn't, we'd probably want to ally with Nagaron. And frankly, Chaos isn't very good. As in the hands of the AI, it doesn't seem to accomplish that much and is fairly weak as an ally. Whereas Nagaron, not so much. Let's just see. Where are you? Here you are. So we have a non-aggression pact and a trade agreement. You're starting to like us a little bit more, but you are currently at war with the Decadent Host, and you probably aren't liked by other factions. Our military allies in the form of Wintertooth don't like you, which is unfortunate, but I'd still prefer to continue building relationship with you. What if we join your war against, let's say, the Heralds of Ariel? They will never come here. Oh, wow. Wait, military access is minus 29. I didn't even see that. Damn. And I also don't like the fact that they're fighting with the Slaughterhorn tribe, because we could have been friendly with them, but a little bit late for that, I guess. Yeah, we could join against the Heralds of Ariel. I don't really see any reason not to do this, especially because they'll always hate us. The only thing, I guess, is that they don't know where we currently are, and as soon as they do, they might, in theory, sail all the way over here. In theory. In practice, whether that's true, I guess we'll see. Let's do it. And get a little bit friendlier with Mali over there. He thinks that we are a major threat, but he's also giving us 4,000 gold per turn via trade. And I'm kind of disinclined to give that up, at least at the current time. Anyway, well done to Mr. Garth. Let's see about your level up, shall we? Gotta get your award. We have Envoy of the Council and Voice of the Horned Rat. I guess we could get Voice of the Horned Rat. It might have helped there at least a little bit. We could also reduce the cost on the dreaded 13th, which was kind of needed there as well. And we also can go into Quartermaster. Honestly, I was never expecting this army to be like this, as in what it's currently looking like, but we're keeping it for now. Maybe we'll change it up at some point, but it ain't right now. Let's get to you. We didn't use Crack's Call, or we didn't need Crack's Call there, rather. We have Engineering Skill, we have Respected and Feared, and Stand or Die. Oh, we don't have Mutagenic Elixirs for our piles upon piles of Plague Monks. Alright, Mutagenic Elixirs it is. They don't get benefits from it yet, but they will relatively soon, so we might as well. Alrighty, and that's Garth. Who's up next? Alrighty, Charge Lock, you... You know what, let's see if you can't get an ambush going. Let's see if we can't kill this little stack out here with an ambush. Probably could have built some buildings first, and no ambush for you, alas. But does it matter when you have Lightning Strike? Probably not. Let's fight this manually, because frankly it's a small army, so unless the terrain screws us over, we should be fine here. The worst thing that could happen is we get a terrain that isn't very good for our Warp Lightning cannons, because they can't arc, and then we'll have to rely on all these other units. Alright, moment of truth. Okay, let's see. Well, it's not horrible. It's not great, but it's not horrible. Start deployment. I guess you guys should be able to fire over this hill. I would have liked to have deployed way further away than this, but I don't see how we have much of a choice. I guess we could try deploying up here as well. Yeah, the arc is going to be a real problem. Damn. I had a feeling like this, because of mountainous terrain would be a problem for these guys. I guess we try like that. Is there anything better? We could do half and half. It's kind of risky, but maybe that's the way to do it. And you guys go here, and then the rest of you guys go here. Of course, the enemy will split themselves up as well, but, you know, that's life. Let's see if at least some of you can fire. If you guys are going to be distracting the enemy, you are going to be in a group as well. You're going to be up here together with our mortars, who need to move up. You also do not need to skirmish mode mortars. But let's assume that most of the enemy is going to come here, so let's make you group 2, make you group 3. Like so. To defend these guys, you can be in the center and just apply yourself wherever you're needed, and Mickey and Minnie will separate themselves into various positions. Alright, none of you need to skirmish mode. Why would we want to skirmish mode the warp fire throwers? Like so. Good. Start. Move forward. You move forward as well. Warp lightning cannons. Who can't fire? Okay, you can't fire. Okay, well at least it's only half of them that can't fire right now. Do the enemy have iron breakers here? They do indeed. Okay, let's try to trap the iron breakers then. With a nice brass orb like so. Let's see if that works. And alright, iron breakers are trapped. Pop that on them right now. And everybody keep working. And there we go, they're damaged. You guys are going to go after the Thunderers. Try not to get yourselves killed while doing it. Turn on melee mode, but keep trundling around. Don't get engaged in melee. We can distract the Ironbreakers as well, but it's the Thunderers we want right now. Alrighty. Good job to the Doom Wheels. Don't get trapped in the Ironbreakers. You're too weak to actually take a... Whoa! We got Iron Drakes with flamethrowers firing at us. Keep away from that nonsense. Allow the rest of your units to do work. Mickey and Minnie, looks like you're both going to be needed here. And yeah, these two Warp Lightnings haven't got a shot off, unfortunately. Try to move a little bit closer, change your positions a little bit. Alright, Warp Fire Throwers. Okay, you guys are good. Keep away, please. Let's target you, Dwarf Warrior units, and you, Dwarf Warriors, mostly because they have a lot of HP left. And alright. Oh, those poor hammerers. They, I mean, I guess they knew what hit them, but it didn't help very much to know what hit them. Oh, Warp Lightnings, come on now. You're hitting the Doom Wheels. What you doing? I know you want to kill that Lord, but yikes. Let's get another Clan Rat summon. Mickey and Minnie, keep away. Actually, you guys would move too close, most likely. I thought you guys were going to go after the Lord, but it looks like the enemy Lord isn't really do anything. Keep away from the Warp Lightnings, please. Thank you. Mickey or Minnie, get back behind there, please. Alright, very nice. Man, they are not landing any shots on those warriors, are we? Do we have another brass orb available? Not yet, but in a second or so, like here. Alright, you guys keep getting away, and... Can't even see what was there before. Hammers by the looks of the hammers on the ground, but they got melted. And just like that, the army is basically done. Lovely. Oh, damn, I was going to get another spell off of that brass orb, but a little bit late. Oh, well, not a big deal. And Mickey, Minnie, give chase to some enemies. And, oh, wow, now you guys can fire. Great for you, I guess. Let's keep attacking with the Plague Claws. And, well, not Plague Claws, the units that are not the Plague Claws. You guys move forward, move forward, move forward. Warp Lightning Cannons was the word I was looking for. You guys, forward, all of you. You need to kill the things that are still alive. Because go figure. Rush, we want everything here to be dead by next round. And in fact, you guys may want to go after the enemy Lord. Speed yourself up, Mickey. Speed yourself up, Minnie. It was actually the other way around. But it matters not, or at least it hopefully matters not. What are you guys firing at? Fire at that. You guys killed that one Giant Slayer, please. Oh, technically the battle isn't over, is it? Because that Giant Slayer remains alive. Cute. Alright, now it's over. Mickey, after the enemy Lord. And I wish you had a heal there, Charge Lock, but I guess it shouldn't be needed. You should actually go in front of the enemy Lord and knock him back rather than forward, please. Alright, and where are Warp Fires? Some of them are getting closer. Might actually be able to get a shot off or two. Yes, your Warp Fire Throwers, I know. Alright, you guys help out with killing the enemy Lord. That unit of Ironbreakers is done for. And try to get a few more shots on those organ guns. Alright, Mickey and Minnie, you guys should be group 3. Go after this. And kill those organ guns. To the flamethrowers, or the warp fire throwers. Oh, I forgot to ballistics calibrate. I guess we didn't need it, but nonetheless. You guys go after that, please. How are you guys doing? Do you need buffs? Yes. I would speed this up normally, but, well, obviously we need to kill everything we can here. Alright, a few more of those units still left alive, come on. And turn around and go back after him. How's that lord looking? Pretty bad by the looks of it. And oh, somebody's alive back here? Who is this? Oh, it's that one unit of Ironbreakers. Okay, every single one of you target and kill that Ironbreaker unit. Alright, we good. And the enemy lord, just you two left. Alright, now we can speed it up while these two kill him. Hopefully, though they are taking their sweet time. In fact, wheels, go after this as well. Hopefully our cannons don't target it. In fact, let's just tell them not to fire just in case. I don't trust them. They've already hurt our Doom Wheels probably more than the enemy did. Alright, now that lord is surrounded. There we are. Definitely a trivial battle, 0 losses, tiny bit of damage on charge lock. Which is somewhat unusual, but the terrain did kind of screw us here. To some degree. Half screw us. It wasn't enjoyable for either side. Two remaining, so that was that one Ironbreaker did escape after all. I don't know who the second unit remaining was, however. It certainly wasn't or shouldn't have been the enemy lord. Maybe one of these escaped. Well, it's kind of unclear as to who it was, and we can't heal. Oh, that's a little bit disappointing. But what can you do? We are going to sell off, I guess. Alright, now, charge lock. Where are you, buddy? You can't actually reach this guy. The problem is, I really didn't like that map. So here's the thing, maybe it would be beneficial to actually force these guys...
Don't think so.
I'm not sure. If it's the same map, we might not get too much advantage from the enemy moving off the map, but we could try attacking this guy. On the other hand, if we fail and move away, what if we can't reach Frozen Landing? That might be an issue as well. But I think, and unfortunately, that'll be an issue that we'll have to deal with next time because we're pretty much out of time. So, next time, Chargelog is going to finish off the Frozen Landing and then start moving towards Krakadrak and their ultimate destruction. Of course, once he's done, there will be no more enemies here to take care of, so he will have to move elsewhere, perhaps southward to the Grimgor's Ardboys. There's still a lot of Darklands territories for us to move into. And then we also have the potential battle against Zlatlan here, which should be a fun time. We'll do the siege next time, take this out, and that'll severely weaken the remnants of Talakwa, though they're really close to dead by the looks of it. We still, of course, have to fight the Order of Loremasters. Huh. I'm actually surprised that they're still alive. I've never seen them survive this long. Not in Warhammer 3. They always get killed. I guess Kairos didn't do his job. Maybe they allied with everybody around him and destroyed him. There's still a ton of Tzeentch corruption in the south, but just out of curiosity. Big Bird is dead for sure, yes? It looks like it. So this would be the minor Tzeentch faction down there. I still kind of am wary of moving all the way down there. Well, either way, we're not piecing out with Talakwa, so we're going to get down there eventually, and we'll figure out what we do with them. Corporal's gonna move north and take care of this, and we should also be able to destroy the Broken Axe for good. Within, by the looks of it, 2 turns. So stay tuned for all that. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.